So, Leonard here again. So, I've used the Flaer Revive bike cleaner and my trusty hose lock to give this Boardman full sus a clean after I've ridden it. And like I said, I like to clean the bike pretty much immediately after I've ridden it for quite a few reasons. One is the dirt is much easier to get off while it's still relatively fresh. If you leave it for hours, days, weeks, months or years, it can be much tougher to get off. So it's much easier to do when it's still relatively fresh. But also that helps to with the mechanical parts of the bike, things like the chain, suspension pivots, bearings, cables, etc. To get the dirt off is good. None of the mechanical parts will work as well if they're dirty, so it's good to get that clean. Also, it helps maintain the residual value of the bike. Most people don't keep things forever and they will end up selling them on, and the cleaner they are, normally the easier they are to sell, which is good. So there's cosmetic reasons, mechanical reasons, just it's plain more efficient to do it while it's still relatively soft and hasn't baked on. The other reason I mentioned earlier was if there are faults that have developed while riding the bike, it's much more likely to spot them if you have been all the way around the bike, washing all the nooks and crannies. It's much more likely that you would come across any faults, loose spokes, potential punctures, wear in the brakes, movement in any of the bearings, bolts that have came loose. There's all sorts of things that can happen when you're riding a bike, especially off-road. It's quite a harsh environment. So cleaning it fairly promptly is good for a great number of reasons. But just as important is the cleaning after you clean it. Sometimes when you're cleaning, you're going to strip away some of the protection that's on there in terms of lubrication. So I'm going to use this Flaer Gaurd, which is a protector spray. It does have an oil content, so it has some sort of lubrication properties. It's good for the metal parts, the frame, maybe wheel rims and stuff, as long as you don't have rim brakes. In this case, I'm also going to use the Terra fluid, Flaer Terra fluid, for the chain. So it's equally as important to put some sort of protection and some sort of lubricant back on after you've washed it. So the washing is really important, but this stage to put some lubricant and some protection back on the bike so that it's not just dry is also equally as important. And I like to do that at this stage also, because then it can sit for hours, days, weeks, months, or possibly even years until it's used again. But as soon as someone decides they want to use it, it's already clean, it's already lubed. It's normally just a case of pulling it out and doing the kind of general daily checks like tyre pressures and such like to make sure it's good to go. So that's the way I would normally try and keep on top of the kind of day-to-day maintenance on the bike. And it also helps when you come to servicing or repairs. If the bike is clean, it's much easier to work on and much more efficient. So that's the end of my ride. Ride the bike, wash it, lube it, put it away. Cracking. See you soon, guys. Stay safe.